Madam Vice Chairman, I wish to raise before this House a serious and burning issue which is causing great concern in India society, namely the educated unemployed in India. The educated unemployed in this country are estimated to be 40 million as per the statistics taken in 2000. The educated unemployed youth, if not properly admitted to jobs, get frustrated in life. In their frustrated mood, they fall prey to antisocial elements who whip up their frustration against society. We find most of the outlaws, militants, and Naxalites are produced from amongst the educated unemployed youth. They go hand in glove with the miscreants in society and do all sorts of violent and turbulent acts of terrorism under the cover of liberation movement in their misguided enthusiasm and become the enemies of the society. These misguided unemployed youth are called militants and terrorists in various parts of the country. We have to take immediate and effective steps to wipe off unemployment, especially among the educated masses. It is time that all politicians, cutting across party lines, evolved emergent steps to work out for the redressal of the unemployed, following which people will lose their faith in the democratic system. It is of course a sorry state of affairs that there is no specific allocation or scheme for the educated unemployed in the annual budget presented by the finance minister. The government should start setting up more medical and engineering colleges as well as job-oriented industrial outlets in rural districts. Social service activities can provide good job opportunities. For this purpose, huge funds are not required. The opening of children's nurseries, medical and nursing facilities in every village and urban locality would almost offer more than 5 lakh jobs. Youth force is a timely need of our country since the future of this great nation is to be handled by this generation. It is suggested by experts that the government should think of creating a national service force for all able-bodied and unemployed citizens. The aforesaid national service may be further divided into 5 compartments for the satisfactory working of the scheme. First comes the Education and Scientific Division. This branch should concentrate on adult literacy throughout the length and breadth of the country. Exploration of natural resources and their efficient utilization should be its motto. Agriculture should be further modernized by adopting agro-industrial technology. There should be development of renewable resources, propagate scientific attitudes for public and personal hygiene, and educate the public about civic responsibility through adult and mass education. Engineering and Construction Division has to look after the maintenance and repairs of canals, dams, public schools, hospitals, digging of tube wells, and construction of solar and biogas plants and all public works wherever required. This category of persons should attend to conservation of soil erosion, maintenance of environment, reclamation of fallow and infertile lands, and afforestation as well. The next division is Civil Administration. This should act as an ancillary force to the police to supervise city traffic and keep an eye on anti-social elements. Another division has to look after the health condition of the public and their general fitness. This division should cater to the needs of the allying public. There should be one cultural division which will rouse and the artistic approach of the public and impart further knowledge under this scheme. Rural areas should be visited by them once or twice in a calendar year. They may educate the illiterate public in rural areas about economic plans regarding government loans and subsidy and impress upon them about unity and discipline and other social advancement and about family planning. Since brain drain in recent years is disturbing us, we should have a complete change of policy and make it a point to see that no one is enamored of the privileges enjoyed abroad and should not stick to their stay but return home to raise their country in the world arena. Right to work should be a constitutional guarantee, and in that event, the aggrieved individual can move the appropriate court to seek relief. This will create more employment to unemployed youth. By adopting such tactful measures, we can prevent the mass exodus of the educated youth to other countries and develop our country. In the above circumstances, my suggestions may be considered, and the government may announce good schemes to retain our educated unemployed at home to work for the progress of this great nation. Having failed to export any of our products, having invested crores of rupees, we are now going back to the same thing as exporting iron ore, manganese ore, and we try to export our jute products, so that we are going back to the same old stage even after making planning and development for the last 12 years. It is time that we thought seriously about our investment, why we are lagging, why is it that our industries cannot compete with foreign countries although we take collaboration from Britain, America, Russia and so many other countries. Madam, I wish to draw the attention of the government through you to the disinvestment of shares in the public sector undertakings. As we all know, last year in the budget there was a provision to disinvest share of selected public sector undertakings to the extent of 20%, and the government had calculated that they would receive by way of revenue rupees 2500 crores. What has actually happened is that the realization from the shares which were decided to be sold has been much more. The government has got rupees 3000 and odd crores. The companies which are selected are companies which are doing well, whether they are the Indian Oil Corporation or the Steel Authority of India Limited or the Oil and Natural Gas Commission or MTNL. These are the companies which the government has earmarked, where part of the equity will be sold just now to begin with to the mutual funds and later on to the public. There are a few points to which I want to draw the attention of the government. While there may be nothing objectionable in disinvesting part of the government equity, now there is talk that in view of the experience, the disinvestment may go up to 49%. Since the government is considering disinvestment to such a large extent, a few points should be borne in mind. When you sell your own shares to the public, it is a one-time revenue that you get, because once you sell the shares, they have gone forever. It is therefore necessary on the part of the government to ensure that you get the best price, actually you get your worth of the shares. I don't know why the government has not come forward to tell us what is the method of calculation of the price at which they are selling their shares. Even when a private sector company goes public, it fixes a premium which is vetted by the controller of capital issues of the Ministry of Finance. In public sector undertakings, there should be a method by which the Parliament must know what price the government has fixed for the shares of those public sector undertakings, and it would be much more advantageous and it would be a correct procedure to follow if there is some sort of tender or public issue of these shares. Why should there be secrecy? There should be total transparency in the transaction. Government should come out with a position paper giving details such as what are the names of the undertakings, whether they have already sold the shares which they proposed to sell, what are the numbers of shares they sold, what is the price fixed, who were the buyers, and what was the method followed in selling those shares. I understand from the speech of the finance minister in the budget that for the next year they are going to evolve some guidelines and procedures. My request to the government is that they should come out with a clear cut procedure where the government realizes the best price for the shares and the shares are widely distributed to the public in case they are going to make it a public issue. Madam, my other point apart from the high realization is the use of money so collected. It is very well known when any private entrepreneur sells capital assets, the proceeds are used either to buy another capital asset or to repay debts. Unfortunately, because of the difficult financial situation of the government, the money collected last year has been spent on expenditure. It is a very dangerous thing, madam, if you sell all your premium shares of public sector undertakings and use that money for your current year expenditure, then it is a very bad way of financial management. I request the finance minister through you that this year whatever realization they will make out of the proceeds of the shares of public sector undertakings should be strictly used either to acquire another asset or to repay debts so that liabilities of the government come down to that extent. It is prudent financial management to use the acceleration on capital account for either another asset on the capital account or a debt repayment on the capital account. Sir, this is a very serious matter, and if we are going to amend the constitution and oust the jurisdiction of the High Court and the Supreme Court, there may be other people who would like to amend the constitution for certain other purposes. Going up to the High Court and getting writs is not a right provision. You know, people are going to the high courts and getting writs. Are we then to amend the constitution to make it impossible for people to get these writs? That will be a very serious matter, and it will be a wrong thing if we begin to amend the constitution because it does not please a particular section of the people of India.